Hey, what is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. On today's video, we are going over American Battery Metals, ticker symbol ABML. Now, recently we did get a short report that came out where basically a company said all of the potential negatives about this company, blew things very out of proportion, and then we have seen a bit of a sell-off since then. It came out on the 10th, and we saw it drop about 14%. We saw the company drop about 14% in stock price. Now, American Battery Metals has actually responded, and I think that does have a lot to do with why we are starting to see the stock price start to climb again. So hopefully that does continue. But with that being said, let's go ahead. I'm going to just basically summarize some of the different points that were made in this article, talk about what I think about them and what American Battery Metals had to say. I'm not going to go super in depth about each and every one, as again, there is a lot and I don't want to keep you here all day. Now, if you do want access to this information when I do get it, if you want access to the trades I make when I make them, if you want access to my trade portfolio and early access to these videos, go down to the link in the description. It'll bring you over to my Patreon, and that is where I'm fully transparent with all this information. Also, if you are looking to start your own investment journey, expand out into a new brokerage, I highly recommend using the referral link down below. Whenever you use the referral link, you will open an account and deposit only $100 to get 2 free stocks that can be valued all the way up to $1,850. This is a fantastic opportunity that I think everyone should take advantage of. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's jump into it. And we, of course, did see a research report from Spruce Point Capital Management that stated ABML was a strong sell. So the first point being made is that they believe optimistic claims for near-term revenues and profits from EV battery recycling are likely to disappoint long after insiders sell out and share prices correct. Now, basically what they do say within this article is that they believe the recycling market will be slow to develop, that there's no infrastructure, and that no one really needs people to recycle batteries as the majority of the EVs are not ending near life. And they also said that this is not even economical, as most key battery metals are not currently in short supply. So whenever we talk about this, it is something that does frustrate me to see how they try to turn certain things and they try to make it out to be so negative. Now, one thing that I will say is that at the moment, I would agree that a lot of EVs aren't nearing the end of life, that a lot of these different things, there's not a necessarily short supply of battery metals, materials, but we have to consider where this market is going. That's the issue with this. We can talk about the now, but we have to consider where it is going. Now, we have to consider the fact that many things, and it was highlighted by American Battery Metals, we have to consider the fact that it is moving at exponential rates. I mean, the lithium cathode market itself is expected to jump by nearly $60 billion by 2024. Bloomberg was highlighting the significant increase in demand for things such as lithium and nickel. As we have seen, the lithium-ion battery market itself is growing at a compounded annual growth rate of over 20% year on year for the next 5 years. So we have to understand that, yes, at the moment, it might not be the biggest market ever, and that is why they are using this time to get these permits to get this plant built, because they're establishing themselves as a player. So in the future, whenever this is going to be relevant, because it is, as we have seen the EV market been growing substantially, that they will then be able to capitalize on that rapid growth, and they will be able to establish themselves as a phenomenal player within this industry. So the next point that they made is that a recent Freedom of Information request in Fernley, Nevada contradicts management's permitting claims. Now, it does say here basically that they are saying that no applications or permits have been submitted to date on the parcel of land owned by ABML. Now, American Battery Metals did respond and said that this is false and defamatory. They actually provided proof that they submitted a conditional use permit application to the city and that it is under review. Now, if we do go over to this, we can see that this is true and that they did provide us with evidence of this conditional use authorization and that it is under review. So this is just blatantly false, and I'm just not even going to keep going into that one, as again, this is just so negative. Now, I'm not going to keep going into every single one as I have in the past, but I would make a few highlights. They believe both management teams are promotional and have a demonstrated track record of failing investors' expectations in past business ventures. And I will say that we have seen some failures from CEO Doug Cole and from Doug McClellan. But the thing about it is we have seen some successful businesses as well. And so considering the fact that they are going to be, basically bringing up only the failures but not bringing up the positives as well is another reason why I'm not a fan of this article whatsoever. And I've always been the type of person where if a negative article does come out about a company that I like, I will acknowledge acknowledge it, and I will actually try to understand the points being made in the article if there's legitimate sourcing. Now, considering the fact that in this one right here, this was a very, very false claim, it already took credibility away from this article. But now the fact that they are starting to only mention some of the failures in which we have seen from the executives and not any of the positives, definitely not a good thing, not a reason, that I would believe in any of the stuff that is being said right here. And I truly just believe that this is incredibly biased. Now, whenever I do talk about that, they basically do, American Battery Metals said the same thing that I said, that the report ignores third-party endorsements by the government and large private companies that American Battery Metals has received for the substantive potential of its technology. I mean, we have to consider the fact that the DOE actually granted them a $4.5 million grant. I mean, we have to consider the fact that if the government thinks that they have loads of potential with their technology and think that their management team is good enough to actually make this a success, why would I believe a report from someone who's not even been announced of who it is? You know what I mean? Like, that's where a lot of the issue comes with for me, is that we're seeing them be endorsed by the government, the Department of Energy itself. And so why necessarily would I want to believe this whenever I could believe the people who are actually funding them, through the government? And so with that being said, again, I just truly believe that this article is super duper biased, and I'm not a big fan of it. I would say that I think they made some legitimate points, but those points were taken very far in another direction without acknowledging any of the positives or any of the alternative view on it. And I'm not a super big fan of whenever YouTubers do it or articles are released like it. And so with that being said, I am taking this article with a grain of salt. As you can see here, I do have my investment still within this company, and that is not changing anytime soon. And I do believe that as we do continue to go forward, as more news does come out about the conditional use permit, and as more information comes out about the progress that the company is making, that we will start to see this company continue to climb. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video, and if you did, you can let me know by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new. With that being said, I do post on this channel 2 to 3 times every single day, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video. Peace.